This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. We talked earlier about positions that the Browns don't need to target. Let's talk about the positions that I think the Browns do need to target. And we're going to start this conversation on tight end. I do think the Browns need to bring in a tight end. Now, I'm open to the type of tight end this is. I honestly would prefer a blocking tight end. I think the Browns need a blocking tight end. I don't think, and let me make this clear. It does not have to be a combo tight end. It don't have to be an H-back. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a big-ass blocking tight end. Like, I think that's a lost art. I think it's like more of a lost art and more of a functional lost art than, the much maligned fullback position. Like how people complain about the fullback position going away. I complain about the use of a blocking tight end goes away. Now, I know you can replace a blocking tight end technically with the tackle eligible, but that doesn't really do it to me, right? Because when you bring in a tackle eligible, one, you're almost always going to run out of those packages. And two, you're bringing in somebody who can block at a high enough level, but they are no threat to receive the ball. Like, I think somebody who can block at a high level and catch something that's thrown to him, which you can't trust the offensive lineman to do, is a reliable and useful resource for a team to have, especially a team that wants to run out of the gun. I think you want a more mobile, extra block situation. I think sometimes those kind of trap sets instead of just a straight up set that you could do from having another blocking tight end out there is more helpful than having an extra tackle eligible out there. So I definitely think the Browns should look at tight end. I'm open to blocking tight end. Given how Andrew Berry operates, it don't seem like he really messes with the blocking tight end. Maybe the personnel changes have changed the preferences there for Andrew Berry on the offensive side of the ball. But I don't anticipate him getting the blocking tight end like I would like. But yeah, I do think the Browns in general really got to take a hard look at tight end, because even if you want a receiving tight end, you did lose Harrison Bryant. Behind David Njoku, you have Jordan Akins, who was kind of a disappointment last year. Maybe that had something to do with the system and what he was asked to do. Maybe it had to do with his ability to play football. I don't really know which one it was, but he was a big disappointment last year when it comes to his production, because we just thought he would get like 300, 400 yards. I think he got like 30 the whole season. He really didn't do much. So that was a big letdown, right? And the few times he did get targeted, it was a part of controversy because it's when Deshaun threw that pick six out of stick. So again, tight end, they got to look at it. Maybe you're going to roll with Jordan Akins as your number 2 tight end, which I'm fine with, right? Because I do think he deserves another shot at it, especially with a healthy Deshaun Watson, given what he's been able to do with a healthy Deshaun Watson in Houston, and also what he did in Houston the year before he got here. I think he was like a 500-yard tight end. So yeah, I would give that another shot. He does have some intriguing traits there, but I personally would love somebody who could block as that third tight end. I think that's something that this team's been missing. Harrison Bryant, he is not a horrible blocker, but he's not a big enough tight end to really hold down that role. I would love a big, strong blocking tight end. I wouldn't hate it, but I do think the Browns should look at a tight end, right? Another area, and look, it's not going to be shocking where I think the Browns should focus. It's almost all on the offensive line, on the line of scrimmage. Offensive tackle is an area that I think the Browns should address in this year's draft. And honestly, if there's somebody there at 54 that you like, I think the Browns probably should lean towards taking that tackle. Now, again, I'm not saying take a tackle that you don't like or take a tackle that you don't even like anywhere close to the 54th pick in the draft. But if there is a tackle there, or if you can trade back and get a tackle that you like, I do think that's a way that you should consider going about this draft, because tackle's going to be an issue, especially on the left side, because you want to have options given what is coming for this team in the next year. So you know that Jet Wills' contract is over after this year. So you either have to franchise tag him or extend him. Big decision has to be made on Jet Wills. And Jet Wills is in that range of player that usually sees free agency, right? And the type of player that usually sees free agency is that player who is good, but not seen as pivotal. Jet Wills. You also have Jack Conklin, who's likely going to be gone just due to the contract and the money, and DeJuan Jones is likely going to be the starter. So you're going to lose those two tackles. At the very least, you want to get out of this draft somebody who can swing, right? Be a left and right tackle and be a backup at the very least to somebody who could start, right? If Kingsley Samatatia is there, Roger Rosengarten is there, I think those are two excellent options that could be professional starting left tackles in the NFL. Maybe not year one, but somewhere down the line, they will be professional starting left tackles. I think the Browns are in a nice spot here to develop a raw tackle. So, I think if you're there at 54, a good tackle prospects there, it makes all the sense in the world if you're the Cleveland Browns who draft a tackle, because tackle is going to be a huge need for this team next year. And you don't want to rely on a rookie. You don't want to feel like you're forced to spend your first round pick next year on another offensive tackle. You want to have that freedom. You want to make sure you can be free to spend your first round pick in 3 years on what you feel like is the best player available, and not necessarily because you got to throw it at a need or put yourself in a position where you have to overpay Jet Wills just to have somebody to protect the blind side of Deshaun Watson. Want to avoid being in those bad situations, and the way you avoid it is that you allow yourself to get some options this year by investing in a tackle position in a year where the tackle class is strong. So that is the one position where I'm like, hey, they got to have that circled. Like, I feel like if you're the Browns, you got to get out of here with a tackle that you like, at the very least, right? Then let's talk about offensive guard, another situation where I'm like, hey, you got to start to get to people, right? Because Wyatt Teller, if you want to start to retain other guys on this team, Wyatt Teller's contract might be one that has to go. Or Joe Bitonio, like, he's getting up there in age. He's coming up on his 11th season in the NFL. After this year, he'll be in his 12th season as an NFL player. And that's about the time where guys start either declining or retiring. Now, Joe Bitonio might play for 20 years. He might end up retiring after this year, but you have to have a backup plan with Joe Bitonio if you're going to go forward, if you're the Cleveland Browns. So guard, similar reasons that I have tackle up there, probably going to want some kind of a plan. And then linebacker. And these are the positions I think the Browns should go after in the draft, right? Linebacker, you just have run out of all of the young linebackers that you drafted. I don't think linebacker is like a crazy need. I don't think you need to draft somebody in the second round or the third round in linebacker. But you do want to spend those fourth, fifth, well, you don't have a fourth, but a fifth, sixth round or seventh round pick on some linebackers to kind of reload that room, because now you're down to like Tony Fields, Jordan Hicks, Mahmoud Diabate. Like, you're down to some names that you'd rather not play. Devin Bush, right? Like, you would want to feel better about that, reload that room around JOK. So linebacker is going to be something that I think this team definitely needs to look at. Now, I'm going to hit a different area, because I do think that there are a couple of positions here that I would not draft, but I do think you need to bring in some UDFAs to kind of compete or just keep an eye on in camp. And that's going to be kicker and punter. Yes, Quincy is advocating that the Browns pay attention to kicker and punter position. What a world we live That's called character growth, y'all. But kicker and punter. Why do I think the Browns should address this in undrafted free agency? Well, one, Dustin Hopkins is only under contract for this next year. He's expensive for a kicker. And if you're the Browns, that's one of those areas where you want to start to cut some costs, right? They already brought Cade York back. I don't think that's a mistake. I think they brought back Cade York because they're hoping, hey, maybe Cade figures it out this season while Dustin is holding it down as the starting kicker for the team. And then we can switch on back to plan A, which was Cade York. Maybe he got all that stuff out of his system. I think, honestly, this is my pitch for special teams, especially like kickers, punters, long snappers. I don't think that the UFL should be a minor league system to the NFL. I think there's a lot of issues with that. Like, it works great on paper, but then once you realize that these guys are going to have to play football, you start to see why it's not going to work. No team's going to take a third-round pick and throw them in a spring league to get injured potentially. I don't think that's going to happen. While on paper it would make sense for development, football is just too physical to have a developmental league. But one of the positions, or three of the positions that aren't that physical, are kicker, punter, and long snapper. And if I'm an NFL team, I would be advocating with the league to sign special teams, kickers, punters, and long snappers to special two-way contracts where they get a futures deal on the NFL side, right? We're going to keep you on the practice squad. We're going to keep you throughout camp, and we're going to keep you within the facility throughout the year. Then once the spring football season hits, you play for a UFL team. So you can start to kick for a professional team. You can get used to kicking with the rush. You can go through your woes without it hurting the team. Like, that's an area where I think spring football can be really helpful. You look at spring football, and I'm telling you this, you're going to find special teams players galore out of these leagues, especially at the kicker position, right? They just had the young man who made a 65-yard field goal in Michigan the other day at Ford Field. Brandon Aubrey came from the USFL, from the Birmingham Stallions, and became the best kicker in the NFL almost instantly. There is something about kicking professionally that's just different than kicking in college. Maybe it's the hashes, maybe it's the pressure, maybe it's the environment. But I do think spring football is a great place to kind of pressure test these guys and get those kinks out the way, right? Those little woes that a kicker might have. Get that out the way, have them kick for a spring team on a two-way deal, bring them back. But that's what I want to do for the future. For right now, that's kind of what the Browns are trying to do, right? They're hoping that Cade York got all that stuff out of his system. They're going to give him another year to sit on it. And then once Dustin Hopkins is ready to roll on out, they're probably going to try to give him another chance and keep him around in the building. But yeah, I do think that they should bring in another kicker and another punter, just because I think you should always keep those positions fresh and cheap, because you don't want to not be able to bring back a JOK because you want to keep Dustin Hopkins, right? Like you need to have those options. Maybe some positions that the Browns should target wide receiver. Now, this all depends on the Amari Cooper extension. If it happens, they shouldn't target a wide receiver. If it doesn't happen, they should, because then you have an extra position to fill. Running back, look, I don't like this year's class. I talked about that in the earlier video. But if you do want to get a running back, I think Trey Benson is the one to be had in this year's draft class. And if he's available at the right place, I wouldn't blame the Browns for going after him. But that's my thoughts on the type of positions that the Browns should target in this year's draft. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.